a few other things. You won 71% of your first serve points today, 72% on your second serve.
Okay.
That's
Those are great. Yeah.
Those are great numbers.
Yeah.
When you're having a good serving day, what are the things that are happening?
I think.
Are you trying to go big? Are you hitting your spots well?
I think today was a good percentage day. A lot of first.
Picture this. A 20-year-old from the Philippines who learned tennis on a half basketball court just forced the entire Women's Tennis Association to face an uncomfortable truth. And no, it wasn't with a racket smash or a courtside tantrum. It was something far more powerful. Her mere presence. Alex Eala didn't just show up to the Australian Open. She brought an army, a sea of Filipino flags, chants that echoed through Melbourne Park, and a fan base so loud the WTA couldn't ignore them anymore. But here's the kicker. They tried anyway. Stick around, because what happened next exposes a system that wasn't ready for a star who didn't fit their mold. And before we dive into the chaos, quick favor. If you're loving this tennis drama, smash that subscribe button. Over 92% of viewers haven't yet. It's free, takes a second, and keeps us bringing you the stories the WTA wishes would stay quiet. Did you subscribe? Awesome. Now back to the bombshell. Alex Eala's story starts where most tennis fairy tales don't. No pristine clay courts in Monte Carlo, no sprawling academies in Florida with Olympic-sized gyms, just a converted basketball court in Manila. Cracked pavement, humid air thick enough to slice with a serve, and a kid who refused to believe geography determines destiny. While future rivals were training at IMG Academy with biomechanics coaches and cryotherapy chambers, Alex was dodging stray basketballs and making do with what she had. And somehow, against every odd stacked against her, she turned that grit into gold. By the time she was 17, she wasn't just competing, she was dominating. Junior Grand Slam champion, not once, but multiple times. The kind of resume that makes scouts salivate and sponsors open their checkbooks. But the WTA, bless their hearts, seemed to miss the memo, because when Alex transitioned to the professional tour, something became painfully obvious. The system built for European and American stars with clear pathways and predictable pipelines had absolutely no idea what to do with a Filipino sensation who brought an entire nation with her. Here's where it gets interesting. Alex didn't just attract fans, she created a movement. Filipinos who'd never watched tennis suddenly knew the difference between a break point and a set point. Parents named their daughters after her. Watch parties in Manila drew crowds that rivaled NBA Finals viewings. And when she stepped onto a court anywhere in the world, you could spot the Philippine flag waving in the stands. It wasn't just support, it was devotion. The kind of loyalty that sells tickets, boosts ratings, and turns casual viewers into die-hard fans. You'd think the WTA would recognize a gold mine when they saw one. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Instead, they kept scheduling her matches like she was just another player grinding through qualifying rounds. Small courts, minimal promotion, almost like they were operating on autopilot, completely blind to the fact that this wasn't business as usual. This was a cultural phenomenon in tennis shoes. Fast forward to the Australian Open 2026, Alex Eala walks in ranked in the top 50, fresh off a career high of number 29, carrying the hopes of 100 million Filipinos on her shoulders. Melbourne Park is buzzing. The draw comes out, and tennis fans across Asia start planning their trips. This is it, the breakout moment, the stage where Alex proves she belongs among the elite. And then the WTA releases the schedule. Court 6. Yeah, you read that right. Not Rod Laver Arena, not even Margaret Court Arena, not even one of the show courts with decent capacity. Court 6, a venue so small it makes a high school gymnasium look spacious. The kind of court where if you sneeze in the front row, the player hears it. Now imagine thousands of Filipino fans, many who'd saved for months to make the trip, showing up only to find out there's no room. Imagine the overflow crowds pressed against fences, trying to catch a glimpse through gaps in the structure. Imagine the frustration, the disbelief. the sense that someone, somewhere, fundamentally miscalculated. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Social media erupted faster than a Serena Williams serve. Hashtags trended globally. Filipino sports journalists didn't hold back, calling out the WTA for what they saw as blatant disrespect. And then, like a thunderclap, came Martina Navratilova, 18 Grand Slam champion, tennis royalty, the woman who doesn't mince words and certainly doesn't waste them on trivial complaints. Martina looked at the situation, looked at the WTA's scheduling decision, and called it exactly what it was, a mistake. Not a minor oversight, not a logistical hiccup, a mistake. When Martina Navratilova says you messed up, it's not a suggestion, it's a diagnosis. And suddenly, this wasn't just about one match on one court. It became a symbol, a glaring example of how the WTA's infrastructure, built for a different era and a different demographic, couldn't keep pace with the global game tennis had become. Because here's the uncomfortable truth the WTA didn't want to admit. They weren't ready for Alex Eala. Not because she lacked talent, she had that in spades. Not because she couldn't compete, she had already proven she could hang with the best. They weren't ready because she didn't fit their template. Think about it. The WTA's traditional star-making machine works beautifully for players who emerge from established tennis nations. If you're from the United States, Russia, or Western Europe, the pathway is clear. Junior success leads to wild cards at big tournaments, which leads to sponsorship deals, which leads to better coaching, which leads to higher rankings. It's a well-oiled conveyor belt. But what happens when a star emerges from the Philippines, a country with minimal tennis infrastructure, no Grand Slam tournaments, and a sports culture dominated by basketball and boxing? What happens when that player brings a fan base that doesn't fit neatly into expected attendance patterns? The system freezes. It defaults to outdated assumptions, and players like Alex get stuck between their actual impact and the WTA's ability to recognize it. The Australian Open debacle wasn't just about one bad scheduling call. It was a stress test, and the WTA failed spectacularly. But wait, there's more, because the Court 6 controversy was just the tip of the iceberg. Dig deeper into Alex's professional journey, and you'll find a pattern of systemic gaps that have nothing to do with her performance and everything to do with how the tour operates. Take the ranking system. Sounds straightforward, right? Win matches, earn points, climb the ladder. Except when you're Alex Eala bouncing between tournaments across 3 continents because there aren't enough events in Asia, the point system becomes a trap. Miss one tournament due to travel fatigue or visa issues, and you're defending points you earned months ago in a completely different season. Meanwhile, players based in Europe can hop on a short flight and compete almost every week. The result? Ranking volatility that makes Alex's career trajectory look like a stock market chart during a recession. One month she's top 30, the next she's fighting to stay in the top 100. Not because she forgot how to play tennis, but because the infrastructure wasn't designed for someone in her position. And let's talk about officiating, the unspoken issue no one wants to address. Alex has faced line call controversies that seemed, let's say, conveniently timed. Close calls that went against her in crucial moments, challenges denied despite clear evidence. Now, is anyone accusing officials of bias? Not directly, but when a player from a non-traditional tennis nation consistently finds herself on the wrong end of 50-50 calls, patterns start to emerge. The kind of patterns that make you wonder if unconscious bias plays a bigger role than anyone is willing to admit. Because here's the thing, tennis has always prided itself on being a meritocracy. The ball either lands in or it doesn't. You win or you lose. But when the systems surrounding the game, scheduling, rankings, officiating, aren't neutral, merit gets muddy. And Alex Eala's rise has shown a spotlight on every crack in the foundation. So, where does this leave us? With a 20-year-old who's done everything right, achieved everything expected, and still found herself fighting battles that have nothing to do with tennis. With a WTA that's scrambling to explain why they didn't see this coming, even though the signs were flashing neon bright for years. And with a global tennis community that's finally asking the right question. If the WTA can't accommodate a star as marketable, as talented, and as culturally significant as Alex Eala, what does that say about their vision for the sport's future? Because tennis isn't just Wimbledon whites and champagne. It's Manila watch parties and Court 6 overflow crowds. It's players who learned the game on cracked concrete, not manicured grass. And if the WTA wants to stay relevant in a world that's moved beyond their traditional comfort zone, they'd better start adapting fast. Alex Eala didn't set out to expose the WTA's blind spots. She just showed up, played her game, and let the system reveal itself. And now everyone's watching to see what happens next. Will the WTA step up, acknowledge their mistakes, and build infrastructure that reflects tennis's global reality? Or will they keep scheduling generational talents on Court 6 and hope no one notices? One thing's certain, Alex isn't going anywhere, and neither are her fans. The WTA can either evolve or get left behind. The ball, as they say, is in their court.